he might be the only person I met that needs to be struck by lightning. Like, he might. I've heard
Just
that.
sit him out in the field,
Like-
all metal around him.
Lightning, actually, again, no judgment, man.
No judgment.
I'm trying to bring a little bit of light to it, even though if it is a serious subject.
You know everybody's got a voice. Today I'm your host Serge, accompanied by my boy Hale. Hale, how's it going today, man?
I'm doing great, man. Appreciate you giving me a home to stay at while I'm out here in KC. So
anytime,
it's always
anytime.
nice. Yeah, it's not quite like the studio, but it's pretty close. I like the decor. I like
I was
what you
gonna
got
say
going
it's a
on.
nice little setup. We got the cozy couch, nice decor around and such. You know, I like to live a little lavish. I get that from mom.
There you go.
But you guys know the deal, man. We're back with another one. Go ahead and hit the jam that subscribe button. Hit the follow on all the social media platforms. Instagram, Facebook, X, or Twitter, whatever you call it. Discord, we're in there waiting on you guys too. So all you got to do is look up the Social Club, Social Clubber. You're going to find us. Wherever your thumbs can swipe, you'll find us to swipe through. But with all that said, man, we can go ahead and get right into it today, guys. We did a video recently covering the Diddy trial. Yes, that's what today is going to be about. We're recapping a bit of that. There's been some new things that have been uncovered in the Diddy trial that are also both surprising and also quite disturbing. But ultimately, we wanted to give a recap and just give some thoughts, share some thoughts following up on the last video. So, Hale, let me start. I want to ask you first off, you know, like with everything going on in this case, man, what's been the craziest thing you've heard? And we're going to go into a recap of all the stuff that, you know, has unraveled since the last time we spoke. But I just want to get your thoughts because there's quite a few crazy concepts to this case as it is.
Yeah, the first thing I'll say before we get into is that if you don't know anything about this case, then I would say you do get yourself educated on this case and keep track of it because there's a lot of very important information that's going on about this case. And we talked about it the last video that we had about Diddy, that, you know, this involves everyone in the industry. So it's very important that we all keep this in mind and keep, you know, bringing out this information and relaying this to everyone, what's going on with this case and everything, since it's not being videotaped. This is all through like transcripts and everything like that, which is pretty insane. But the craziest thing from it, you know, you might have to help me with the context of who he was referring this to, but there was a woman that he was talking to. It wasn't Cassie, but essentially his lines were like, I am the devil. I can kill you right now.
Yep.
Like, that's got to be the craziest thing I've ever heard that came out of like that. Everything we know up to now, that's got to be the craziest thing. But I guess give some context and like, who is he telling that to?
So from my understanding, he was talking to, I want to say it was Cassie's friend. She testified recently. I think it was just Thursday in court, and she brought this to their attention. But yeah, it was like during a photo shoot or on a beach setting somewhere, something like that. They had gotten into it, and he literally said the words verbatim. You hit it on the head. I am the devil. I will kill you. And first of all, what? Like,
Yeah.
that just doesn't come out in regular everyday conversation. It's hands down, and I'm right there with you. That's hands down one of the craziest things I've heard in this case. It's probably one of the craziest things I've heard somebody say, like, in my life. To like hear those words be like, of course you hear like, I'll kill you, this, that, and the other, but to claim you are the devil, like that's a very demonic claim in itself. And I think it speaks a lot to some of the other findings we've had in this case, because it's a very demonic presence in all of this. This is not regular. This isn't just crazy. This isn't sick-minded. You know, I think you can agree. There's no trauma that you could go through that would result to this, you know, being how you lived your life. But I'll follow up with saying, I think the craziest revelation I've had is not so much crazy. It's just understanding the lengths and the bounds this man went through to keep everything suppressed from the media. Is the clip of when him and Cassie got into it in 2016 at the hotel. That was released more recently, obviously, when she went ahead and filed. But this was suppressed from the media because Diddy, in, you know, worry and concern, reached out to the hotel staff after everything had kind of went down, got in touch with security, and he actually buried the footage. He bought the footage to bury it. He reached out to hotel staffing, talked to the guard that was there during everything that happened, and even the guard testified, and he was like, yeah, he sounded worried as hell. And he was like, whatever we got to do to get it, make sure that doesn't get released and never sees the light of day, essentially. His manager said, well, he's got to go through, the litigation process, the legal procedures and whatnot to get something like that done. And Diddy's like, I'll pay. Manager said, all right, $50K. Diddy said, I'll give you $100. Paid these guys $100,000 to bury a video that was maybe 7 minutes long, if that.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, like, again, $100,000 to Diddy's chump change, but to anybody like us, that's a come up. That's a significant come up. I pay off all my debt with that.
Yeah, that's insane. There's so much to say about this, but beyond the cover up, and you kind of mentioned it earlier, is that there's nowhere else to describe it. This is like otherworldly type of evil that's going on here. It's like, money's one thing, and there's one thing to bury clips and things like that. Those are things that are like, I don't agree with it, but I understand that that's par for the course when you're the rich and famous and all that stuff. But the detail of the things that he was doing to get these freak offs going, and the nature of these freak offs, and the whole apparatus of this entire thing of making sure everything's documented, making sure you have the blackmail and everything set up. It's like, it's a different type of organized evil that you're doing. Like, it's far more advanced and sophisticated than the mob or anything of that nature, to where, I said it once, I'll say it again, it's like, it's bigger than Diddy. It's an institution. It has to be. It has to be an institution. And just like you see in the stance of, not only is it people that were complacent, but the amount of people you need to even run this type of operation. Like, his finance guy got up on the stance, and the finance guy had to go through there. And if anyone doesn't know, when you have a finance guy to one major rich person, your job is to wash money. It's to make sure everything appears legal when you do your taxes, or don't pay taxes in that regard, right? That's the point of the finance guy. So even the finance guy getting up on there and just, like, my full-time job was like making sure I knew where the money was going, and to make sure that it was legit was the gist of what he was talking about. And oddly enough, he was the only one that actually had something positive to say.
Literally. Only one. Got up on this. He concluded his entire testimony after speaking about his business with Diddy. He handled both business and personal finances, how they would put things in the ledger, everything else. Ends the testimony with saying, Sean Diddy Combs has been a great businessman to do business with. I've never seen him commit a crime. I've never witnessed him commit a crime, anything of that nature. And I'm in my head like, brother, you got to be the only one in the room.
Like, read the room.
like the thing is, he secured himself a job elsewhere for sure.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
For sure. Secured him a job elsewhere.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's kind of the downside in a world where everything is about money and how much you're willing to drop your morals. Because for a guy to say something like that, obviously you had the ability to skim off the top with that.
Yeah, 1,000%.
So he made his money out of all this.
100%.
So for him to get to that point to where he doesn't see any type of humanity, or at least won't admit to any type of humanity in this, to be like, yeah, I did a really bad thing in this. Like, I was pretty complacent in this. I actually helped the guy out. It's a sad thing to see, and really speaks to the nature of how corrupt people can become with money on the table. It's one thing for a security guard to just say, all right, I'll make this disappear,
completely unaffiliated. He's just there doing his job.
It's a one-time thing. I see it on camera. And not only that, Cassie even called. It wasn't even like it was just like, the guy. The girl also called, was like, hey, it was just a one-off thing. Don't worry about it, right?
And at that point, I was like, all right, because he said he split the $100K with his boss and then one other coworker that he works with. So that's what, $33K you just came up on just to keep your mouth shut?
Yeah.
I'm never going to see you again. Sure.
That's one thing. But to be in your finance regard for years,
like 10, 15 plus.
Yeah. It's like you just had no sense of humanity at that point. You completely removed yourself from the entire situation in body and soul, which is a very sad thing to see.
Because there's been multiple members of Diddy's organization, both current and former, that have been on the stand, and they've expressed, they had some part of the cover up. They helped cover this up. They were complicit with this happening, and like they just went along with the show. And given from the way everybody makes it sound, Diddy was terrifying. So like, I get why you probably followed suit. But, you know, you were an accessory to everything that happened around you. And those people at least have the human morale to say, like, they'll get up there on the stand and say, no, like, this was wrong. I just wasn't in a position where I could say anything before. Even Cassie's homegirl, the one that he said, I'm the devil, I'll kill you. Also the same girl he held off the balcony of the 17th floor of her apartment complex. Yeah, like, even she came out and she's like, I've suppressed this for so long because he's terrifying. Like, he scared the living hell out of me. And she also said that her and Cassie were at a point when, at this point in their relationship or friendship, they were doing a lot of drugs and whatnot. So she's like, I wasn't really in a position to bring anything forward. That's owning it. That's being human and saying, I should have, and you probably should have back then. But you're coming forth and you're saying, listen, I was wrong for not bringing this info to light, but it needs to be brought to light and it needs to be in full force. Because, man, holding somebody over the 17th floor balcony, I mean, who do you think you are, man? Like, that's insane. These are things you see in movies.
Yeah, well, I am pretty firm on my stance on, like, there's a lot of people to blame, and it's way bigger than Diddy. It's an institution thing for sure. Mm-hmm. There is a level of respect I will give you for you to get on the stance that's like, I'm not here to tell you I'm a good person.
Right.
I'm not.
True.
I'm just here to give my testimony in the hopes that this won't happen again.
Yeah.
There's a level of respect I will give you for that. And in the earlier video, I talked about that too, because I was like, how much blame does Cassie get in this? Mm-hmm. I wish, going back, and I'll make sure I'll say it now, there's still a level of respect and humility that I do give to Cassie in this regard, because I do have to keep in mind, one, when she first met Diddy, I believe she was 19.
Yeah.
She was very young.
I don't think she was 19. I think she was 18.
Yeah, she was very, very young.
Very young. And easily influenced.
I get it. Legal adult's a legal adult. But also, in context, an 18-year-old to a guy that's $100 millionaire.
Right.
And the amount of power and stuff that you see in real time, you know, I do have to take that into account. Yeah. So I have to be real with that. And the second thing is, just like with Cassie, it's like, I think people made her to be a victim, but I don't think she's carrying herself like a victim.
True.
I think she's carrying herself in the way that I've recognized and made peace with the bad things I've done in the past, and hopefully bringing this to light will save the people of the future.
Right.
And there's a level of respect I do.
Absolutely. For me, that's a massive level of respect. I think there's a lot of respect that comes into play both with her coming forward in the midst of it all, because Diddy's threatened her many a times, and she still came forward, broke her silence, and brought this all to the media. Heck, we're in trial now, like week 4. It takes courage to get in the courtroom and be in there with him, with your family and whatnot, and seeing this man across the room. It takes a lot of courage to get on the stand and share, your deepest, darkest secrets, some of your worst moments with these people that are complete strangers, but for the greater good of justice. That takes a lot. Like, I have a lot of respect and admiration for her. I hate that she had to go through everything she did, but at the end of the day, it's for the greater good of putting someone that has this magnitude of power with the equal amount of magnitude of vile disservice he wants to do to humanity.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to put something like that behind bars, but I think that everything's moving in the right direction for that to happen. With that said, Diddy, it looks bad, bro. It's not getting better. And I think it's going to get worse.
I need names to drop. That's what I'm waiting on. Man. I am waiting for the names. I need names to drop.
Man, when names get dropped.
I need to know. I need to know what's going on. Everything needs to be exposed. It's a burden of knowledge. I get it. Mm-hmm. No one wants to see their hero in that type of light. I understand. But if I lost Kanye, then everyone has to lose their hero at this point. But it's, we gotta accept that.
If I lost Kanye, everybody else can lose their hero.
We gotta make peace with that, man. It has to happen. We gotta see the names on what's going on here.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, other than that, if you have to choose, what type of punishment would you give Diddy at this point?
Oh man, that's tough, because I've played with this idea a bit, just trying to think, as I'm hearing all these crazy things and charades happening, I'm like, what would even be appropriate? And it's hard to guess, because you obviously bring into the death penalty and life imprisonment, and neither of those feel sufficient. Sure, you can give him the needle and then he's getting out easy, but a lot of people say he got the easy way out. You can let him rot in jail for 40, 50 more years, but I'll be honest, with the power this man has displayed, I don't know if that's going to stop whatever's happening from happening. I don't know, man. I think we got to get creative. Okay, can I give one, no limits, no bounds, no judgment? No limits, no bounds, no judgment. And this is just me being creative. I do not have a vile mind like this. But I think to kill the monster, you use the tool that he used amongst many. Death by waterboard. Except it's not water. It's baby oil. I rest my case.
All right, well, there you go.
Let's hear yours.
He might be the only person that I met. He might be the only person that I met that needs to be struck by lightning. Like, he might. I've heard
Just
that.
sit him out in the field,
like,
all metal around him.
Lightning, actually, again, no judgment, man.
No judgment.
I'm trying to bring a little bit of light to it, even though if it is a serious subject. At this point, he's got to go by crucifixion. The full thing. He's got to build his own board, walk the thing, get nailed, and then off on a cliff needs to get lightning struck.
Oh my God.
And the funny thing is, I don't even think that would kill him because of how evil he is. He might fly in the air. Well, he might fly in the air at that point. And just,
wings sprout out.
Yeah.
When this motherfucker get Red Bull?
Exactly.
Oh my God.
It's just,
man.
it's such a different type of evil. It's insane. Like, I don't even know what you do with the guy. But
It actually is though, man. Like, 'cause I'm watching these recap videos. I'm like, there's no presence of human thought in any of this. There can't be. This has to be demonic activity. Because he's just vile, man. He's a vile human being.
That's insane.
There's some nasty people that have walked this earth, but Diddy's looking like one of the worst in a long time.
yeah, and unfortunately, might be worse. But I guess we can recap. We can stop it here.
Yeah, we can stop it here.
And like I said, we'll keep on it because even though this isn't everything that we talk about, because we like to talk about sports, things going on, and current events, and then like our actual live social events and everything like that, vacations.
Right.
Even though this is still pretty important, and we're gonna try to put it in a way that's like lax and doesn't make you feel too down and everything. But I really do encourage you guys to stay on top of this case and keep seeing what's happened, because people like Diddy shouldn't get off the hook.
Not at all.
And they won't get off the hook as long as us as a group, everyone, viewers, everyone, stays on top of this and make sure that the right people are held accountable for this.
Bingo.
That's the only way you can prevent this from happening in the future.
Bingo. I agree.
Mic drop.
Guys.
We're done. Nah, but absolutely subscribe to the channel and check out all of our other videos. There's a lot of other things that we talk about, and we have a lot of fun and do a lot of cool things. But we just want to make sure you guys stay ahead of this, and it's not going away. We're still going to talk about it. We got more videos of these to cook up.
Yes, we do. Because like I said, we're only in week 4 of the trial, and I don't think we're even halfway through the witness list. So,
well,
you'll get a follow-up soon.
Yeah. Other than that, guys, we'll see you in the next one.
It's been great.